Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone. The Huskers are headed to the locker room, and it's time for Big Red Overreaction. The live post-game show with all the info and opinions you can handle. Plus the most important voice of all, yours. Big Red Overreaction is presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also sponsored by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Get on the line now at 402-951-1620 and sound off on Big Red Overreaction. Live on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
I've already spoken, but apparently we were not on air. I already gave all my hot takes, man. I was burning them right and left. All right, welcome everybody. I'm here on the sidecar. Connor is in charge. Big Red Overreaction is presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. It's also presented by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. The Peter Man is here.
Hell yeah.
Not ready to lose his mind. Nebraska wins 17-9. Go ahead, Connor.
Okay, it's 17-9 was the final score today. Just wanted to make sure. Thanks, Gary, for driving this car. We appreciate it. Here we are, Big Red Overreaction. Hey, we got a lot to talk about, Gary. A lot to talk about. We got a volleyball pregame show to do. Did you see all of the promotion they were doing for the volleyball game on the Big Ten Network today?
Yes, it has to be the first time that they've cut in the middle of a game to go to the sideline to have the
to talk about volleyball
for Big Ten volleyball to come on and talk about it. That's what this game was. This game
was.
This game is over. Nebraska won. This would be an awful show if they lost. It's probably not going to be a great show, even though they won 17-9. They did not cover. It was ugly. They were very fortunate today to be playing against a team in Northwestern.
But a win, as somebody said in the comments already, a win is a win.
And you know what? You know what, this, Connor, and everybody else listening to Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg, Nebraska's won 4 of 5.
4 out of 5.
And they just played a game today where one of the best defensive players hadn't played all year and is still going to redshirt. His name is James Williams.
One of the best defensive players?
Yes.
I mean, he had a good day today. But nobody had ever heard of him until about 3 hours ago.
No. People at Iowa Central are going, that's our guy. So he sacked Sullivan in the opening series, and then when he was on the field, he showed that, hey, he's a natural pass rusher, but the kid is going to redshirt. Like, this will not change today. They're still going to have him redshirt.
Amazing.
Yeah, what an interesting game.
Should we go through some stats? Some big picture stuff first. Nebraska was outgained today. 257 to 248. Nebraska had 248 yards of total offense and won the football game. They also turned the ball over 2 times, 2 Heinrich Harburg interceptions. I assume we'll talk about quarterbacking at some point during the show this evening. But Nebraska was able to sack the quarterback of Northwestern, Sullivan, 8 times for 51 yards, also 13 tackled for losses. Nebraska ran for 163, Northwestern for 81. Nebraska's defense was good again. I didn't think they had much to worry about. The offense has to just sort of exist and not turn the football over.
That's a good way to describe it.
Just exist. Here, I'll give you an analogy. I used this early in the week on my show. Nebraska's offense is currently in basically not to go too dark here, but they're basically in the equivalent of like hospice care, right? So they're at the end of their life. And it's like, okay, what do we do with the patient? The patient is Nebraska's offense. Are we going to get them back up on their feet? Are we going to let them go back out into the world? No, probably not. But let's make things comfortable for them. Can they be comfortable in this life that they now have to live up until the end of the season? Gary, I know you're wincing a little bit, but stick with me here.
Yeah.
Nebraska's offense is never going to be good this year. We have to admit this to ourselves. But it can exist in a world where it doesn't turn the football over and it isn't a total train wreck. Today was kind of a total train wreck, and they're going to lose some games down the stretch if they end up being like that.
But they won.
They won. Today was not that day.
And they are 4-3, and their path to 6 is still alive. They have 5 games to get 2 more.
Yep.
This is not the year to just
lose sleep over what Nebraska on one side of the ball looks like because, man, they're now become a major mash unit.
Yeah.
But they won a football game.
Well, yeah.
They won a game against a team that is in their neighborhood. And that's what kind of this year is of teams that are in their neighborhood in the Big Ten. You win those type of games.
Guess what? There's 5 more.
And they have won Illinois. They've beaten Northwestern. And, they're 4-3. And this is better to go into the weekend with a 17-9 win than a weird 20-17 last second loss. Or at one point in the game, you thought, well, Northwestern's going to win 13-10.
There's 5 more games that are against teams that are in their neighborhood too.
Yeah. Well, and everybody today, when you go to bed tonight and you kneel down at the shrine of Devaney and Osborne, thank Matt Rule that he found Tony White.
Yeah. Thank you, Tony.
Nebraska's defense against really, really bad offenses just suffocate them, and they give you a chance, and that is exactly what happened today. That defense just bailed Nebraska out of some just really sloppy play on one side of the ball, but they won.
They won.
Right.
They won. That's the story. Should we take some phone calls?
Yes. Peter, you got Matt Rule so Matt Rule will probably have some very interesting things. I got a feeling that the questions will be pretty pointed on one side of the ball today.
I would imagine so.
No presser link as of right now.
We'll get there.
Thanks for the update.
We'll get there.
He's taking his time. That was a long afternoon for him.
Well, and he's going to get ready to go to the volleyball
stadium.
Yeah.
All right. You want to start with your brother?
Let's do it. Yeah, Connor. He's been waiting for the whole time. Let's see if he's still there. Hi, Connor. You're on Big Red Overreaction.
How's it going, fellas?
Great. Thanks for holding. What's up?
Wonderful.
Not much. Well, I heard you guys say something about the offense being on hospice.
Yes.
You might as well put them down. Just put them down. Put them out of their misery.
It's a terrible analogy. I'm just going to say.
Yeah,
it's a bad analogy.
You said it, not me.
No, not me.
I
mean,
said
Connor,
it.
your brother said it.
I said it.
Somebody said it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way,
Connor, how much?
I wrote a couple of points down.
Okay.
On a bar napkin with a keynote marker.
How many before you got to writing these down are we in? 3, 4?
What was that?
How many are you in tonight before you wrote these down on a bar napkin?
I lost count a while ago.
All right, let it rip.
Okay, all right. So for starters, I said we need Dylan Raiola, QB. I mean,
we're off to a terrible start today.
Oh. If you say so.
Connor, how old are you?
Am I wrong?
Okay.
You're not wrong.
Okay,
they could use a good quarterback.
Just keep it moving.
Yeah.
All right, next.
All right. Defense, they're going to take us to the Natty. I'm just telling you that right now.
All right.
Tony White.
Our time is about over here.
No, it's not.
You waited for 55 minutes?
Connor decides when his time is over.
You let Connor get out his points, Gary. Connor, you keep going. I like this so far.
Yeah. Thank you. Billy Kemp, he might be washed. I don't know.
Well, he's now out for the year, but
yeah. He might be over. It might be over. And then I got a notification from Hurrdat Media that Jeff Sims, he entered the portal right after the game. That was crazy.
All right. You know what? You know what's crazy is that you waited 55 minutes and that we actually took your call. Thank you. All right. Connor was like, "Hey, we got to take that guy. We got to do a better job of screening."
Okay, here we go.
Hey, we're going to reset. It's okay. We're going to reset.
Dylan Raiola. Dylan Raiola.
Listen,
defense national championship.
Yeah. Okay. We're not doing this tonight. Okay. Because we got some elite volleyball to watch here in an hour and 11 minutes. The quarterback situation.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm well on record. You know how I feel about next year. I'm also on record. I'm over the day and age of an athlete playing quarterback at the University of Nebraska.
Oh, my.
Nebraska needs to have a quarterback that can play quarterback. For right now, Harburg is their guy. He does, for every 3 or 4 bad things, he'll give you the touchdown pass to Coleman. But the decision-making is going to put Nebraska in a precarious position.
Yeah, that's why I don't get the first play of the game where they're.
But they're a colossal mess on that side of the ball. They got guys that now are. I mean, your top 4 wide receivers are down. Your top 2 running backs are down. I mean, it's a mash unit, and they don't have an elite play caller to overcome those, or a quarterback that can erase some defaults. So you're going to have to live with it, and you're just going to have to wonder: are they ever going to have an identity when it comes to situational play calling, or just one foot in front of the other on offense.
Well,
I don't know that that's possible this season.
Yeah, and there'll be a lot of conversation about this after the game too. Like I think there's still room to put him in better positions. Like his coming out, firing right away and throwing it down the field. I know he's got a couple guys open, but is that the position you want to put him in right away when you're going up against the worst rush defense in the conference and you run the ball pretty well and you're like, yeah, let's just throw it. That sets you off. Like the first couple games, this was the big problem with Sims. Like they could never get comfortable. Rule talked about it a lot. They just never felt like they were comfortable. It's like, okay, we're starting at our own one. We had this weird turnover here, like this and that. Like that's the way it was today. And it was made that way because of what they did on the very first play of the game. It could have been cleaner for Nebraska today. It wasn't. Now they have problem. Heinrich Carberg is exactly what you just said. They got to make do with it at this
I don't
moment.
think Satterfield and Harburg are not a great combo because Satterfield, by the way, the pass that was underthrown to Alex Bullock was a great route. I mean that is a great play call.
Yeah,
and in a Division I quarterback should be able to complete that pass. Okay, so Satterfield and Harburg are not a great combo because when that happens, Satterfield doesn't know what to do.
Exactly.
So it's a whole litany of things, and just say your prayers tonight to Devaney and Osborne that Tony White came to the University of Nebraska.
Thank you, Tony.
All right, here is I thought you were running the show. Why am I talking so much?
I don't know.
Here is John. John, welcome to Big Red Overreaction.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing tonight?
Hey,
Good,
John.
John.
Great.
So I was actually the first caller after the Illinois game. You talked about Grandma Mary Jo. So I gave a whole language disclosure. I made it through my call without cussing, but language disclosure still applies. The first thing I'm going to say about tonight's game is winning is a learned behavior. Eventually, after you learn it, you develop it into a habit. Today, we took another step in learning how to win. And so that was a big step. And yes, it was ugly, but you think of a toddler learning to walk. Those first steps are usually, it's cute because it's a little kid, but, they're not great steps. Now, when I called in after Illinois, I said that we were an inch taller than my grandma Mary Jo, and we were on our way to average height. Now, somewhere when I was around like 9 or 10 years old, I grew just enough taller than grandma to be able to, when I give her a hug, I could give her a kiss on the head. That is where we grew to tonight. And that growth is still good progress. This is growth that for the last 5 years, we always felt we were on the verge of, but never saw it. There's a lot to be said for winning ugly. Now, Gary, you mentioned Harburg and some of the struggles he had, and I totally agree with you. But I think one of the important things to think about, though, is he's a kid that had no previous college development, is what it really sounds like. It really sounds like the previous staff, whether it were Frost or Mickey Joseph, just entirely dismissed it. And so I think it says a lot for what Matt Rule has been able to get out of him so far. And I think we do go to the transfer portal and we do look for another option. But I think we're in a really, really good place as you continue to develop Harburg, that if he's your backup next year, we're in a lot better place than we were this year.
Yep. John, thank you for the call. We got Matt Rule in his post-game presser.
Getting an inch taller. I like it. Yeah, let's go out to Matt Rule at Memorial Stadium.
Jenkins steps in at guard and then goes to center. Really proud of those things. I know on defense we're going to talk a lot about the stats, but however many sacks, tackles for loss. I was proud of the guys running them down when plays got behind us, getting the ball down, playing another play, and holding it to a field goal. Those of you here, I think I talked the other day. These guys are 70% touchdowns in the red zone, and these guys were one of the best third down teams. And so I knew we were going to have to win third down. I thought the defense did that. Offensively, it was obviously a really, really out of sync night. A lot of things that happened shouldn't have happened. And so we're just going to have to, the key is with a young quarterback, you play through those things. You coach through those things. That first play, it opens up just like we thought. Thomas is open for a touchdown. The ball's a little bit behind. We keep playing. Next ball's a little bit high. We keep playing. Some balls on the ground. So there's a lot that we have to continue to do. But I do want to tell you, and I want the people in Nebraska to know that I don't do anything theatrical during games. I don't point to the crowd. I don't point to my family. But I did point up to Coach Osborne's box, because Coach Osborne came in and said, if you guys can keep running the belly G option, you have to run the belly G pass. And Ron's been telling us that, and we've been running it. But we got that turnover, and we said, let's run it. And Malachi That's the route. That's the route that you run for the love of the game to get everyone else open. And Malachi ran by everybody, ran the belly G option pass, hit it for a touchdown. And so I thought we played like a team. The loss of Billy was devastating tonight. Most of that game plan was built around him, game. But I'll just say this, I think we would have lost that game at the beginning of the year. And after all the adversity we've gone through and the toughness we're building, that's a game that we now win.
How big was that, for Malachi? And do you sense that play was going to be there at some point?
No, we actually had another play that we thought we'd hit him on all week. That play, like I said, he's running through the secondary, like I say, for the love of the game, to open up Bullock and those guys coming back. And you always say, hey, you could be open. And actually, Garrett McGuire said to me, it's going to be open. And I told him he was nuts. And so when I had to say, I was sorry, I was like, Garrett, you were right on the headset after he was open. But to me, it just shows young players making plays. Jalen Lloyd's out there. Jaden Doss is out there. The guys I mentioned, I'm probably missing many more of the young guys out there playing. Principal's out there. Cam's playing. The older guys have done a good job. But that's when we practiced, and it came up, and we hit it.
How would you characterize, in your words, the overall play of the defense?
I thought it was periods dominant, but somewhat spotty in terms of, as I told them at the half, there was like 85 yards rushing at the half. We don't do that. And they did a really nice job off of bye week. They were getting into tackle over, and they were finding a way to pin and pull and put a tackle on Quentin Newsome. And Noose was coming off and setting the edge. You used to be able to cut that guy 2 years ago. You can't cut him anymore. So they had a couple runs. But I thought save that. And, Malcolm's a safety, and all of a sudden Tommy Hill gets hurt going into half. So Tommy Hill didn't play the second half. So Malcolm now goes back to corner. And that's the one thing we never wanted to do, is move Malcolm from safety to corner in game. We just went back to Mondo. Tamon did a great job stepping up. But, two big plays. But other than that, I thought the defense, I thought they were close to dominant at times.
At the end of the third quarter, you have Brian Bushini's punt, 55 yards. Then you pin them back. I think Jamari got a sack. And then that set you up at the 44. How important were those three phases in that compressed part of time?
Man. I'm looking forward to the game where we start with the ball on offense on like the plus 35. We seem to have so many that are down in our own one in the first couple of drives, and they're always kind of playing with the field tilted. That's how we want to play, though. Bushini's been a rock star for us, pinning the ball down. I don't pay attention to punters' averages. I don't pay attention, especially when you're punting in this wind here. It was a windy day. But to make that play, our gunner stepped up to get the sack, to get the punt return, and then to hit the play right after that. To me, that's how we want to play. And I think the biggest thing, Sam, was our guys were comfortable in that stressful environment. We're not playing great on offense. The ball, when I say great, like, the ball's on the ground when it doesn't have to be. Like, just Heinrich's a little bit out of sorts, just, a little bit jittery, trying to do a little too much. And you know what? You hit a play like that, and that just kind of puts you over the edge. So it's special teams, offense, defense working together.
What is the status right before that? You guys went 3 and out. It was 3 quick passes. It was like a 14-second drive. How do you find that balance between playing the complementary football that he's talking about, with a great punt, a defensive stand that leads to a touchdown, but also having a threat to pass the ball when your percentages weren't great today?
Yeah, we're not gonna. We just decided today, like, going into the game, we weren't gonna play in fear. Like, we felt like, the passes were there. A lot of our passes are like, hey, it's a pass with a quarterback draw, or it's a pass with it. So the pass might happen. And, I said at one point, like, hey, we're starting to get a little bit like, starting to try to, run the ball. And, we're better when we're mixing it, we come out on a wheel route. Alex is wide open. We just didn't quite hit it today. Right. So, but I don't know how we'll get better if we don't call it and do it and work through it. So I only worry about things like that, like 3 quick passes, when our defense is tired. When the time of possession is tilted in our favor, or it's close, it's even, the defense isn't tired. I don't worry about those things. If I was thinking that way, I probably just said, hey, run the ball here. We have a lead. But we took the shot to Malachi. We had some other shots in the game that we thought we were going to have. They made a couple plays. So I just think we have to continue to be aggressive, and we have to just coach our way and work our way through these phases of, like, hey, it's not super pretty right now. Just keep playing.
What was the outlook on Billy Kemp and Ethan Piper when they went down? Do you have any?
I don't know if Billy sounded like maybe it was an MCL. Obviously they haven't done any stuff. They let him stay on the sidelines, which is usually a good sign that we'll get him back at some point. Again, kind of this week, I think Sam asked me how, Jeff, get the ball to Billy, and we had so much. I can't tell you how much stuff we had set up for Billy. So that really was jarring, just to have that happen. Pipe seemed like maybe it was a little bit worse. So I'm going to wait and see what that is. He seemed like he was in pain. and I hate it for him. He's the heart and soul of our team. So, and then Tommy was an ankle right before the half. Came out of the half, tested it, just didn't feel like he could go. So we had to sit him for the second half.
Is this the kind of game you said you see the identity as kind of defense first? Is this the kind of game you envision when you say that the defense are picking up the offense?
Yeah, I don't say this. I don't say that we're respectfully. I don't say that we're defense first. I want our defense to understand we're a defensive football team. That doesn't mean the offense takes a back seat to it. It just means that I expect that our defense is going to go win games when they have a chance to win games. And there's not a lot of teams in football. There's a lot of high-flying spread teams that their defenses aren't very good, and everyone complains about the D coordinator. There's a lot of defensive teams. Like I was watching Penn State, Ohio State in the locker room, get ready to go out there, and it was like 10-6 at the half. So there's only a few teams that are really good at both. A couple years ago, Clemson was in the top 10 at both, and that's really because it's how you practice, how you do things, and we're working towards that. But it's not defense first. It's just that I want our guys on defense to understand it does not matter what happens on offense. Go play. The ball was inside our 25 3 times. They came away with 3 field goals. Four times they came away with 3 field goals. But yet, and Tristan Alvano goes out there and, you talk about something big for our team. Was a 47-yarder into the wind? It was into the wind. Yes, that was the wind this way. So, there's a lot of bright spots there that I see that. But I just want to make sure our guys on defense know, hey, if we have one more point than them at half, the game should be over. And that's what black shirts stand for, isn't it? So we're just trying to bring that back.
You mentioned that maybe this was a game you may not have won earlier in the year. Why do you think you were able to do that today, and what caused the maturity in your group?
Because we lost earlier in the year. It's not real popular to say nowadays, but if you want to build a big building, you got to dig a foundation. As I said, I saw a lot of teams last week that were super awesome early, and they're yelling at each other on the sidelines. We went through adversity, and the players got to see that the coaches don't change. The coaches got to see that the players keep coming in each week. The players got to see that we battled each other. It doesn't mean I wanted to lose those games. It just means that, you talk to some of the players, that were on the national championship team. They talk about after, losing to Florida State the year before, and, Ed Stewart saying, hey, we can't ever let this happen again. Going through tough times. Tough times create strong men, and we have a group of strong men there. And the guys on defense, I've challenged them over and over again. What are you going to do if things don't start off well early? And they answered that call for me today, so I'm good with them.
James Williams, you say he was on the scout team. When did you move him up exactly?
Yeah, he was on the scout team for parts of this week. I mean, he's in one package. They wanted to put him up. A lot of that was the bye week. We've got some really good players that are redshirting and developing. It's going to come to fruition in a pretty cool way. We have him and Kai Wallen, our 2 edge players sometimes on scout teams, Sua, Vincent, Carroll Jackson. We've got some really good players. As we come down the stretch, we wanted to get some of these guys in. Part of this is some of our guys, if they didn't get here in the summer, they're just not physically ready, but now they are. We have a receiver that's put on 27 pounds since he got here in June, and he looks great. So it's a year-round thing, but he just did, he's been doing well in the bye week. And then we thought this was a game they would drop back and throw it 50 times. So Tony and Terrence and them created that 5 D lineman package to just have 5 guys rush. When we didn't do it, the quarterback stepped up and made some plays. 5 guys were able to kind of collapse the pocket. And then let me just say this. I don't want to be remiss. I love the guys chasing those guys down. And the play that Isaac Gifford made on the screen today, that's guy blows an assignment, guy blitzes up. He has the back. He comes off the edge. I mean, that play's out for a touchdown. And that's a game-changing play that Giff made. So it was young guys, it was old guys, and it was a lot of guys in between. And I told them, well, it ain't pretty. Well, it wasn't the prettiest of games. It's a win. It's a win. It's a win.
How far has this line come under Knighton in, 9-10 months? Because some of that obviously is scheme. Some of it, they're just beating their guys with moves and technique and all those things.
Yeah, I think the credit goes to the players. I think Terrence has done a good job. I think a lot of it's the way we practice. We do one-on-one pass rush live. We do team compete live. They get so many reps about going against each other. The scout team. A lot of teams, probably more offensive teams, like their scout team. The defensive guys read a card, just kind of get beat. Our guys, we compete. James is hard to block in practice. So. Because we do that, we allow guys, and I think a lot of credit goes to Corey and Kristen. Corey does an amazing job of lifting these guys. They lift 3 days a week during the season, so they continue to get bigger and stronger. Kristen feeds them. So a guy like James is coming from junior college. He's just getting better and better and better. But Terrence is an excellent coach. And I love the creativity today of all the different packages that we had, rotating guys in and out.
What's made you want to embrace? You talked about reminding the guys about the Northwestern game a year ago that they were down, they were up 11 points and then gave it away. Why do you want to bring things up like that now, which seems to be maybe kind of a change for you from the beginning of the year?
No. Yeah, that's a great question. I don't bring things up like that as motivation. Like these guys got us, and I don't believe in that. What I do believe is that everything that happens to us in our lives prepares us for the next stage of our life. And most people, it's so painful they don't want to learn from it. But there's a positive application of pain. Like it was painful for my wife, my kids, and I to go to games, right? And like it was painful for me to go to games and have my kids sit there at Carolina and have them boo us. Like I'll be honest, when the crowd boos here, it almost like it. I kind of almost go back there a little bit, like I can feel myself. It's one of the reasons why I came here, because I didn't want to go somewhere like that. You know what I mean? Like what I went through. So, but there's a positive application of that. I've learned, like, you know what, Matt, do what you think is right. Like if you want to go for it, go for it. If you're not. Same thing with our players. So my message to them, because Ron did a great job in Chapel for the guys that were in Chapel. I just said, you know, hey, we haven't played 60 minutes of just us playing together. Let's try to play 60 minutes. I don't know if we did because there were some, weak things, but we just kind of battled back and forth. And I didn't bring up the Northwestern game at all until I think I brought it up at the game. I was like, the shame of the Northwestern game last year was there was a narrative that we lost because we had a surprise onside kick. What are you talking about? That's not why you lost. You lost because they scored more points than you. And I told them at halftime, like, stop looking at the coach to make a different call. Stop worrying about the play calling. Our players got to go beat their players. And so in the fourth quarter, I'm saying to them, how often in life do you have a chance to go back and redo something? Hey, we have an 11-point lead. Let's go play. And so I want them to understand that, because as they start businesses and as they have families, tough things are going to happen. And I don't want them to be like the people who are victims. I want them to say, this happened to me. I'm going to use it for good. I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to move forward. So, but yeah, it's not a mixed message in my mind, at least, Mitch. It's not like I'm saying like they got us, we got to get them. I'm not saying that. I'm more saying, hey, why did that happen? Because we were worried about all the wrong things. Tonight, let's just go play the next snap, the next play. Don't worry about the offense. Offense, don't worry about the defense. Let's have each other's back, play together. I mean, Ethan Nation jumped in the game and played, and played well. So, that's kind of the message, if that makes sense. Anybody else?
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you. See you again next week, huh? We do it again.
All right, that's Matt Rule at his post-game press conference as Nebraska wins 17-9 this afternoon. You're listening to Big Red Overreaction here on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg. We're going to take a quick break here, but a couple things first. We just had a situation in Iowa City that is worth talking about. Iowa is going to end up losing this game to drop to 6-2 overall and to 3-2 in the league. Wisconsin's going to come back and win against Illinois at home, a game that they were down 21-10, and they're going to come back and win 25-21. It seems like, barring a last-second heave by Illinois here. So we got a lot to talk about around the league as well. Connor Happer, Gary Sharp with you on Big Red Overreaction. Is presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Also presented by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. And brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Don't be afraid to call 402-951-1620 on the J. Stannett Contracting Hotline. Back with more Big Red Overreaction next on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Tailgate parties call for burgers, brats, dogs, and whatever else you could slap on a bun. But those burgers, brats, dogs, and whatever else deserve the best buns. And the best buns come from Rotella's Italian Bakery. Crazy fresh, crazy delicious. So for your next party, pick some up at the bakery off 108th and Harrison or at your favorite grocery store. Fire up your grill and get ready for kickoff. Rotella's Italian Bakery, more than 100 years of tradition. Hey, can I get a burger with some cheese, lettuce, and tomato? Thanks.
It's Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Big Red Overreaction continues in 1 minute on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
When it comes to protecting your home, J. Stennett Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, J. Stennett Contracting has you covered. This fall, consider gutter guards to block debris and prevent clogs and save you the hassle of regular maintenance. Schedule a consultation today and let J. Stennett Contracting's expert team and durable gutter guards ensure your gutters are working properly in every season. J. Stennett Contracting. We have you covered. JSCRestoration.com.
At Dingman's, we are working for you before you even walk through our doors. Our level of commitment to industry involvement and continuing education is second to none. Through our ongoing involvement, we stay current with all the best repair procedures for the ever-changing vehicle. This includes working with auto and paint manufacturers, as well as insurance companies. Our repair facilities are set up with the latest repair and technology. Our ongoing work is to ensure that when you do need us, we are able to provide you with the safest, best repair possible. Because at Dingman's, we would rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Dingmans.com.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone. The Big Red Overreaction postgame show, presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also sponsored by Dingman's Collision and Mechanical Repair on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K.
It's Johnson. It's Harper. Beg your pardon. He's in. Touchdown. Harper.
That is a rushing touchdown for Heinrich Harburg that that gave Nebraska the lead in the game. His Nebraska's first touchdown of the day, and they ended up winning 17-9. We have to. So Connor Happer, Gary Sharp with you on Big Red Overreaction. We have to get a little scoreboard update brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems, helping increase efficiency with your compressed air system. Over in Iowa City, we had the lowest total of all time between Iowa and Minnesota at 30.5 going into this game. And Iowa was about to get the ball back, trailing 12-10 with a minute and a half to go. Cooper DeJean ran over on a sort of I don't know about a botched punt, but it was dribbling and bouncing. He was telling everybody to get away from it, went over, returned it, spun around, tiptoed the sideline, took it back for a touchdown that appeared to give Iowa the lead, and it was called back for an inadvertent fair catch signal by Cooper DeJean as he was telling everybody to get away from the football. They thought he was waving. Then Iowa fans started throwing stuff onto the field. There was this whole situation in Iowa City. Iowa still had the football and then threw an interception to lose the game. So Minnesota takes the pig home, and we have we officially have a disaster in the Big Ten West as we speak. Unbelievable stuff. Elsewhere in the West,
let me get this: Wisconsin's now 3-1. Iowa's 3-2. Minnesota, Nebraska both 2-2, but Minnesota beat Nebraska head-to-head. Northwestern 1-3. Purdue next week's opponent, Lincoln 1-3. Illinois now 1-4.
So Minnesota wins 12-10. Wisconsin comes back and beats Illinois 25-21. And you just mentioned the standings there. So Nebraska, Wisconsin sets up to be pretty big in a couple weeks if Nebraska can hold serve.
Well, that Minnesota game is going to sting.
And that's going to,
for Nebraska.
Be thinking about that one. Scoreboard update brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems, helping increase efficiency with your compressed air systems. To the J. Stennett Contracting Hotline. Let's do Daniel. Daniel's on the line. Daniel, you're on Big Red Overreaction. Thanks for holding. What's up?
Oh, nothing much. I'm just going to celebrate this today. Our defense did amazing. Again, I love the fact that I get to see 8 sacks, but instead it's on the side of the ball that I want it to be on.
That's good point. Yeah, good point.
And if we make a bowl game this year too, it's going to be because of our defense. Our offense certainly does enough to get us like these close wins, and certainly it does its job, but it will be mostly because of our defense. And fun fact, Nebraska has not won 3 games in a row since Mike Riley. I know it's sad, but
sad but true, Daniel.
Hey, let's end that streak.
Yep, Daniel, thanks. That 2016 season, who could forget?
Who could forget? Nebraska got up to number 7 in the country before losing at Wisconsin.
There's other. So this is 2 in a row. But more importantly, it's 4 of 5. They've won 4 of 5 games in a stretch of a 6-game stretch that began after you started 0-2 where you are going to be favored in probably 4 of the 6. And right now, you have a chance to go 5-1 during that stretch. Just small things.
Well, I mean, and there's also part of this year where I think you just have to look at it as this year. That's what they're looking at it as. Yeah. Nebraska is trying to win these football games. They're scratching and clawing for everything they can get. Like, the offense isn't going to look like this going forward. If it does, then we're going to have a real, we get a real situation on our hands. But Nebraska has an opportunity to potentially win their division without having any offense, just as Iowa did and blew that opportunity maybe today. Who knows? They're still in it too. But like, what happens this year is not necessarily a reflection of what happens going forward.
And they're doing this. And so again, 4-3, and I absolutely agree with you. We have to just focus on the 23.
I think that's it.
But you are also to 4-3 without really any explosive offensive plays, no explosive special teams plays, no takeaways by the defense, but you found a way to win 4 games against teams that are living in your same neighborhood.
That's it.
And that's all that matters.
That's it. I asked the question earlier, like, and we can get to this later, like, what's more likely? Nebraska finds a way to just be competent on offense, or they find a way to do more on defense?
Yeah, I worry. I do worry about that one game where the defense really struggles and they're put in too many precarious positions and they break down, and all of a sudden you're going to ask the offense to score more than 3 touchdowns.
So like,
that's when you're in trouble.
I think this is a credit to Tony White. Like, I don't think there's much more to get out of the defense. No, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with you.
Let's go to Brett on the Jason at Contracting Hotline. Hey, Brett. Brett's gone.
Oh, Brett, call back. You held way too long.
Let's go to Vince. Oh, this is Vince in wine country, I assume. Hello, Vince.
Hey, fellas, how are you?
Good, Mr. Diadamo. How are you?
I'm doing well. So let me get into my garage to make this phone call because, as you know, I'm going to end it pretty intense. But let's see. Well, first of all, as I look at this game, I mean, sure, you always want to win by more points, than 8. But I would also look at, as while we're focusing on these little things, I see it like this: we finally found a way to win a 1-possession game. Which is, which are games, 8 points where they can still tie it with a touchdown and a 2-pointer. But point being, these are games that we've given away in the past. And so it's nice to see this. And most of all, you look at the start of the game where Harbert throws 2 picks, really right off the bat. And in past years, well, more so the recent past, those are games where Nebraska would have folded like a house of cards. But the defense just continues to be that go-to. I mean, last year, I screamed on this very show, I want a defense with boar hunters. Now I feel like we have that defense. It's physical. I mean, it makes open field tackles. I mean, you don't see this defense missing many tackles. But I think a key sequence of the game was, after the belly G pass to Malachi Coleman, I'm thinking to myself, okay, defense, just follow this down with a shutdown drive. Next thing you know, they get 1st and goal. In past years, we probably give up, and maybe even earlier this year, we give up a touchdown in that situation. In this particular case, we hold them to a field goal. It's 17-9. Now the best they can do is tie you with a touchdown and a 2-pointer. But we can sit here and nitpick, what this win lacked and, how ugly it was and anything like that. But I think the last 6 years in particular should teach us never take winning for granted. And now, and we're focused on other little things. This is the first time we've been north of 500 in the second half of the season since 2019. And so again, it's all about never taking winning for granted. And Gary, to your point, 4 out of 5 wins, that's another little step. And you know what though, fellas? Now it's time to get that elusive 3-game winning streak. When those mighty Purdue Boilermakers come into town, you make them feel you for 60 minutes. And you know what you do from the first play of the game to the last? You open up a can of kick-ass and fight with bloody knuckles. Let's go, fellas!
Thank you, Vince. We appreciate it as always.
You know the backstory on Vince?
Yeah, I know Vince.
I hired Vince.
You hired him?
At KLIN.
Why'd you do that? I'm just kidding, Vince.
Hey, one quick thing, and before we get to Jim, is, and I brought this up on Twitter, and it comes right on the heels of the Isaac Gifford play, who made a great play to begin the third quarter. The open field, it was a great play call by Northwestern. I didn't like their play calling much today on Northwestern side. They look like a team with an interim coach that has gone through it, and they're 3-3. They had some interesting way they approached their offense today and situational, but they had a great play call against Nebraska's blitz on that third down. Isaac Gifford made an incredible play. Go back and watch that play.
He ran through 3 offensive linemen.
Yeah, he blew up the play, but it also added to the point. I don't know how far back we go, Connor, where and they're not perfect, but they are so much better than we've seen in the past. Where Nebraska defense open field tackling is a lot more sure-handed than we've seen, and I think in a long time.
Yeah.
Now they do have some busts, but they're pretty good, and
they just have guys around the ball.
You know another thing. You know another good sign of Tony White's defense. And again, they're a ways away from a finished product, and they're not an elite defense, but they are really, really good. Is we haven't talked about tackling.
No.
We lose our mind around here talking about shoddy tackling.
It crapped up a little bit, Louisiana Tech. That was it.
And I think that's because they went into that game and they spent all week talking about turnover, so they started to tackle for the turnover.
Sure.
So they are in that area. What they do Monday through Thursday when they actually tackle in practice, great benefit on Saturday.
Yeah, man. I mean, the defense is maximizing, and now you have to figure out what is maximizing for the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
you got to get to that point, whatever it might be. One more phone call before we take a break. It is Jim on the Jay State contracting hotline. No. Jim is gone. Jim called right back. Do we go back?
Your call.
Let's see what John. Okay, so John, we very rudely cut you off before the press conference. What do you got? Finish your point.
Oh no, it's all right. Matt Rule has more important things to say than I do. No, but where I left off is I think it was you, Connor, that you had mentioned the offense is on life support. How do we get the offense on life support? The defense, week after week, has pumped a pulse into that heart. And we're starting to see where now is it with the EKG, is that what it is? Where, the heart test? We're starting to see some spikes upwards. We saw that tonight with Coleman with his special teams play. He followed it up with that great, 44-yard touchdown.
No. He did have the touchdown. That was Lynham, actually. They both wear 15.
Oh.
On the punt that was inside the 10, the open field tackle, yeah, that was Lynham. They both wear 15. It confused Corey, the play-by-play guy.
Okay. I'm still going to give credit to the defense, though, for everything that they've done to just allow us to be in the position for that to happen. And then, yeah, you saw Coleman. That was a great was Coleman's 44-yard touchdown catch. Was that the longest touchdown pass we've had of the season?
Oh, man.
I said it's the best pass that Harburg has thrown all year.
Longest touchdown? Because their longest play would have been the one up against the goal line a couple of weeks ago, right? The Marcus Washington.
How long was the trick play at Minnesota?
That wasn't probably more than 30 yards, was it? Yeah. Yes, it might be, John. Might be.
So we're getting to where we talked about a lot this week, where we hope we could see flashes from Coleman of taking the top off of the opposing defense. We saw that flash tonight. We'll see where it continues to go, but I feel good about it. But another way, as the defense has just continued to pump the heart of the offense, I feel really good about Emmett Johnson. What he finished 12 carries for 73, 74 yards, something like that. I feel like when you ask the question, though, how are we getting the offense off of life support? What the defense is doing right now is allowing us to get the offense off life support. We're 7 games into the year, and overall, I'm really happy with the progress that I've seen.
Yeah, I think there is some.
I don't know that it's going to result in a bowl game, but it's enough that I feel really good about what Matt Rule is going to do going forward. My biggest concern for the rest of the year, and going back to my Grandma Mary Jo analogy, and we're on a growth spurt, is what are these injuries going to do to our growth spurt? The amount of injuries we've had has just been insane, and where we're at, I think, is a testament to Matt Rule and his coaching.
Yeah, John, thanks for the phone call. I will tell you this. So they're a mash unit on the offensive side. If you want to look for a silver lining, there are some young players that now all of a sudden are going to be inserted. So Emmett Johnson, I'm tough on Emmett Johnson. I wondered aloud why Nebraska offered him a scholarship when the school down the street from his high school and the Minnesota running back of the year, or the player of the year, didn't get a scholarship, okay? And I looked at him as a third down back. I still see him as a third down back, but he ran hard and he ran smart today. I will tell you another thing that if you're looking at an injury, and I think the Ethan Piper looks like he's out for the year. Billy Kemp that injury did not look good as well.
No.
Justin Evans-Jenkins, who was close to unseating Ben Scott at center right before the start of the year, had a great fall camp, but they felt comfortable going Ben Scott. And so Justin has had trouble finding opportunities. He's got a great opportunity now to play. Now, Ben Scott did come back into the game, which was a good sign there in the fourth quarter after he left due to injury. But some of these guys that are either true freshmen or redshirt freshmen now are being forced to play, and it's going to look bad, but you hope now, does it look good in 24? Because they're going to get to play not just below their redshirt years, or the redshirt limit of 4 games. Some of these guys are going to have to now play 5-6 games.
Yep. And I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I don't care about red shirts,
Yeah.
burning red shirts and whatever. Like, I want to see some of those younger guys. And that's where you go from, what does this year mean? Is it just about getting wins this year? And then you carry some of that into next year. Because now here come the freshmen. Here come those young guys. And it starts to mean something for 2024. Connor Happer, Gary Sharp with you on Big Red Overreaction, which is presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Also presented by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. And brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Still taking your calls on the J. Sennett Contracting Hotline, 402-951-1620. Back with more Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
It's Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Big Red Overreaction continues in 1 minute on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K.
At Dingman's, we are working for you before you even walk through our doors. Our level of commitment to industry involvement and continuing education is second to none. Through our ongoing involvement, we stay current with all the best repair procedures for the ever-changing vehicle. This includes working with auto and paint manufacturers, as well as insurance companies. Our repair facilities are set up with the latest repair and technology. Our ongoing work is to ensure that when you do need us, we are able to provide you with the safest, best repair possible. Because at Dingman's, we would rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Dingmans.com.
When it comes to protecting your home, J. Stennett Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, J. Stennett Contracting has you covered. This fall, consider gutter guards to block debris and prevent clogs and save you the hassle of regular maintenance. Schedule a consultation today and let J. Stennett Contracting's expert team and durable gutter guards ensure your gutters are working properly in every season. J. Stennett Contracting. We have you covered. JSCRestoration.com.
More info and opinions on Big Red than one station can handle. Big Red Overreaction, presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. On 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K.
That's a good pump. Great pump. A.J. Henning drops it. Picked it back up, and that has dropped himself near the 10-yard line. Malachi Coleman, the freshman, got downfield and made the special teams play.
That was Lynham, but how about a punt showing up in one of our highlights of the game today? Punters are people too. Thank you, Peter.
That's the kind of day we had.
Good job by you.
So we had a very Matt Rule used out of sync. We had a very uneven day with Brian Buschini, because before that, wasn't the punt before 29 yards? This is all into the wind. And then that one that you just heard on the highlight, wasn't that a 55-yard punt?
Yeah, he boomed it.
Yeah,
he boomed it.
The punt before he looked like he did at Colorado.
I know.
I mean, it was just a very uneven day.
Yeah, he's been uneven sort of all year long.
But to something Matt Rule alluded to, and I agree with him, there have been times over the last few years where Nebraska plays an uneven game against an opponent that is similar, or I don't know, you're a healthy favorite, and you allow that game to end up on the opposite side.
For sure. I agree with him that Nebraska would have lost that game earlier in the year. I don't know what's like the difficulty is I don't know what's discernibly different about them from now until then. But that's, I suppose, the growth of this team and just sort of grind, or it's the strength of the opposing teams or weakness of the opposing teams that you're playing. I don't know that I can say that for sure.
Well, we can't overlook that's not a very good team Nebraska beat today, but they beat them.
And they beat Minnesota, the same team Nebraska lost to. And in that, in that way, in the beginning of the season.
I'm telling you not to have revisionist history.
Yeah,
that opening
you're
night
not gonna
Minnesota
like that.
is going to sting for a while.
You're not going to like that. Big Red Overreaction presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Back to the phones of the J City Contracting Hotline. It's Cooper online. Cooper DeJean, why'd you call that fair catch, Cooper?
You know what? I should have caught it, but I was. Everybody's talking about that Malachi Coleman play, but I wanted to talk about something on that play that I haven't heard anybody talk about. It was a fullback play action, and I was wondering if that was something that you guys want to see more of, getting the fullback involved. I think that was the only play he was out there. Do you want to see more fullback involved plays, or do you want to go away from that?
Let's talk fullback. Thank you, Cooper.
Thank you. That's T.O.'s play.
Billy G
option. So Liebentritt has been out for a while. So without him out there, they haven't run anything with the fullback because
they did a couple eye sets today.
Yeah, but he's back today. So this was his first game back. So
he wasn't out there today. I didn't see him. I think it was Bonner.
Was it Bonner?
And then they tried to throw a pass to Bonner too, and he dropped it.
So you're absolutely right. Which is Bonner's got to make that catch. Remember, he used to be a high school wide receiver. Okay,
right.
He's got to make that catch. No, I mean, the problem with Bonner at fullback is they don't trust him to pass block. So
Which is
that's
sort of
why
important.
he hasn't made the transition from the spring star of, oh my God, he's going to be the fullback to playing a lot in the fall.
Yeah.
Liebentritt is that guy. Now, I should. Liebentritt was dressed today. I
don't think I saw him.
Yeah, but the use of the fullback with this offense moving forward is vital. But again, my new thing about the offense today is, boy, Satterfield with situational play calling and recognition and personnel is all over the map. I also know one thing. I'm going to lose my mind if every single 3rd and long they have an empty backfield.
I know. I just think if you're the team, if you're the team that says we are going to choke the game out in the 4th quarter and we're gonna run the ball, then you actually have to do that and you have to be cognizant of the clock and stuff like that. So I'm with you, Gary. Like situationally, I mean, and back to the first play call of the game when he throws it down the field and he throws an interception. I didn't like that. And what it came off to me was, and Matt Rule confirmed this after the game, they're trying to send a message, right? Like we're going to go pedal to the metal today.
No.
Yeah. Okay. But just, you could not put it in your quarterback's hand, who's obviously mistake prone.
Well, and so okay, you want to throw the ball, but actually that was the wrong side of the field to throw to because, you threw it into coverage. Workature to your left, and he never looked that way, was wide open.
And Bullock, I think, was breaking.
Yeah.
Well, whoever was on the other side, maybe it was Workature. Yeah.
So when I say situational play calling, real quick here, so the missed field goal by Northwestern. So Nebraska gets the ball at their own 36, and they're in a great spot in this game. Okay, and it was 10-6 at the time.
The 3 and out, the 3 passes.
So So the first down was a great play call. It was a poor pass. So why do you put your quarterback in a position to throw it again instead of why don't you go under center and quarterback handoff instead of going, okay, we missed on a pass. That's on the quarterback. Let's try this again. Let's throw the ball.
Emmett Johnson was your leading rusher for like the majority of the game. And he up until that point, end of the 3rd quarter, he only had like 1 touch in the second half.
He all of a sudden, he was gone for the first 6 minutes of the second half.
Right.
So that goes back
and Grant was in randomly, and then he came out.
That goes to the situational play calling here.
Right. Back to the phones, Jason at Contracting Hotline. Let's do. We got Andy. Andy is up next on the line. You're on Big Red Overreaction, Andy. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Gary? And love you, dude.
Thank you, Andy.
I
love Connor
analysis.
too.
I got. We're looking at the game, and I'm confident in this. It's against Northwestern, and You throw what? 2 picks in 5 plays? Come on. We need to run the ball against Northwestern, and we'd be messing up. So I don't know, but Harburg, I'll give him this. He's a stud. Tough dude.
He is a tough.
Give him credit.
He is a tough dude, Andy. He's as big as he is. He thinks he can run over everybody. I would like him to learn how to take a hit, but there is no denying. There's a lot of flaws in his game. There's no denying that that's a tough SOB. I mean, he'll try and run people over. I just wish he wouldn't try and do it every time, considering the position he plays.
I've never seen that kid fly.
No, but
he's not interested.
Yeah, but there are times where, man, he's got to, whether it's sliding or not, he's got to learn to take a hit as a quarterback, even if you're 6'5" and you're that big.
But our D carried us tonight. You know that.
Hmm?
That was our D helped us so much. It was beautiful. Kept us in the game, and thank God for the black shirts.
Thank God for the black shirts,
Andy, thanks for the call. Have a great weekend.
All right.
All right, there he goes.
Isn't that nice to have a side of the ball that gives you hope?
Yeah, thank God for the black shirts. Put it on a T-shirt. I wish Heinrich.
That is a side of the ball that is fun. When was the last time you could say one side of the Nebraska side was fun? You're a recruit sitting at home. Those guys have fun.
Well, and it's
like
easy.
they're not afraid to show personality.
No,
and they've also gone through the ringer. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to Hartzog, who had one of the wildest series in that I've seen in a long time.
Gets killed and then comes back and makes an open field tackle.
Yeah, on the Northwestern field goal. Yeah.
They had some guys, and the great news is they're shuffling through about 30 of them, 30 plus of them. And you got your dudes, but you're shuffling through about 30 guys on that defense. You're like, yeah, okay, all right. They're not gonna be burnt at the end of the game.
No, well,
They're gonna
okay.
be okay.
So quickly on the James Williams story. So if you don't know who he is, he's a walk-on from Parkville, Missouri. He went to Iowa Central. He's in the program this week. At the beginning of the week, he's on the scout team.
Yep.
And so he's working against Nebraska's number 1 offense. But Terrence Knighton really thinks highly of him. Okay. He hasn't played this year. And they're putting in a package on how they can attack Northwestern. And they go, you know what? James Williams might actually work out well in a 5-man pressure package. So James Williams on Wednesday night, all of a sudden gets these specific plays with the first team defense. And he's going, whoa, okay, I got you, coach. But they told him this is what you're going to be used for. We're not going to all of a sudden you're going to play 40 plays. You're going to play about 8 to 12 plays, but this is what you're going to do when you're in there.
Your ears
and
back.
he's like, I got you, coach.
Yeah.
So what does he do? He sacks Sullivan on the first drive, and then he's on the field at the end of the game, Connor, and he looks to me by the eye, dude, that's a natural pass rusher.
Yeah, he's got some length.
Now, he may not play anymore this year, or they may push him up to the 4 because they still want to redshirt him. But look at that. That's a keen eye for evaluation and knowing your personnel like Terrence Knighton does. Because also another thing, every defensive tackle that plays this year, I don't care if it's the number 1 guy, the number 2 guy, don't they all seem to play well when they're on the field?
Well, that's when the turnover, so they have this thing where they got some guys in the middle and they could generate pressure from the middle, like Ty Robinson and of course Hutmaker have done a really good job. But then when the turnovers come, you start getting pressure from the outside. Yeah. And here comes James Williams and whoever else is sort of bringing it from the edge. They haven't had a lot. Jamari Butler, I think, made a play today.
But Butler's going to be a dude.
So, you have some of that now, and it starts to show up while you've already laid your foundation of here's your kind of guys in the middle.
Now, would you agree the next step is they got to find a way to create havoc turnovers?
That's it.
I mean, that's what's kind of
this is where it starts.
Right now.
This is where it starts. Bring some pressure, bring some heat off the edge. One more call before we take a break. Let's go to George on the Jay Senate contracting hotline. George, you're on Big Red Overreaction. What's up?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Great.
So I don't have anything to really say about the quarterbacks, the defense, or offense. To be honest, all I have to say is I've been a fan since 2008, and these last 6 or 7 years have probably been, as a diehard fan, have been absolutely miserable. And it sucks. It genuinely sucks. I have not been to a winning game in 15 years, and I'm going to the Maryland game in the next few weeks. I unfortunately went to the Michigan game this year. Probably not a great decision, but to be honest, I'm pretty proud of how we played the last couple weeks. And I will say something about the offense. As much as we say Marcus Satterfield, We don't like his situational play calling and things. I will say that I've not seen him step outside of his bounds. And what I mean by that is we're seeing him make play calls that aren't risky. Like, we're not seeing issues with things with Scott Frost trying to get cute, trying to do too much with an offense that clearly doesn't have the talent to do those things. I'm seeing, consistency with, doing, like, I think if we can just get more consistent with running the ball, get more consistent with, Malachi Coleman coming up and stepping up today. I don't know. I'm actually pretty proud of how we've played. And I think next week against Purdue, we have a good chance to beat a team we haven't beaten since the COVID year. And then the week after that against Michigan State, we haven't beaten Michigan State since 2018, Scott Frost's first year. So I'm pretty optimistic going into the next few weeks. And it's pretty nice to be in that position.
Thanks, George.
I hope you guys have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, thanks, George. We will. We appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'll say one thing for the offensive coordinator for Satterfield. Like, I mean, they got their hands tied behind their back. What do you do when you have a quarterback who has sort of been thrust into this role, doesn't possess some of the things I think they want him to possess? Like, it's a piece together offense. You've had 75 wide receiver injuries. Now you get a couple injuries on the offensive line. They're trying to piece it together the best they can. So, like, I want to be careful with not being too hard on the offensive coordinator, but like, I think there is a middle ground there somewhere where they can find, even with their current situation, which is not good, And I don't want to take all the aggression out of the offense, because I don't think you could just, Nebraska's defense isn't good enough to just sit on it the entire game. So, like, the caller earlier said, hey, Nebraska threw it 17 times. I still wish they had run it more. I kind of felt the same way watching the game, but they only threw it 17 times. Yeah. Exactly. You got to keep them honest.
Well, and in Northwestern, there were a lot of times they had 8 men in the box. Here's the thing. A previous caller was talking about Harburg and, hey, his development. Yeah, last year's staff punted the development of Harburg. But now we're on to, 5 starts? There are just simple routes and concepts and simple passes and simple decisions when you don't throw to Fedoni with a defensive back draped all over him, short of the sticks. Those things should be just natural. And again, I think Satterfield and Harburg right now are a bad combo.
Well, I just wish
calling plays for a quarterback who is hit or miss, and an offensive coordinator who sometimes tries to get too cute. And I thought he'd be more in line with, we will do what Harburg does well. He tried. They missed on some passes. That was on Harburg. They put the ball on the carpet. It's just a weird mix right now that is week to week.
What I was hoping after the bye is that, you said it on Monday, right? He's your starting quarterback. What I was hoping is that there would be just a level of comfort that was a little bit different today. And I think that was maybe they were trending that way, but it was thrown completely off the rails by the first play of the game.
They were sloppy.
And so
they were, I was disappointed.
I think he's a rhythm guy.
Offensively, they were very sloppy.
I just would love to. I want to see him get into a game in a rhythm and with a comfort. And so, in order for that to happen, Nebraska needs to not start drives on their own 1 yard line, which they seem like they have done like 4 or 5 times this year. And then have a conventional run game and sort of work him into it. Instead, he's having to make constant plays. He's like an Iowa quarterback. He's got to make plays when it's 3rd and 8. And it's a straight drop back pass, and you got no wide receivers to throw it to. So it's difficult time for him, but there's no it still lacks a certain amount of comfort.
They needed, for Harburg to be successful, they need to win first down. I think their average today on 3rd down, it was 3rd down at about 7.5. Nebraska,
not good enough.
Nebraska for Harburg to be good for them, they need to really, really be good on first down.
On schedule for sure. Connor Happer, Gary Sharp with you on Big Red Overreaction. It's presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Also presented by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill, and brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. We're back with more. Take your calls. Continue to on the J. Stennett Contracting Hotline, 402-951-1620. More Big Red Overreaction next on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
It's Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Big Red Overreaction continues in 1 minute on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
Tailgate parties call for burgers, brats, dogs, and whatever else you can slap on a bun. But those burgers, brats, dogs, and whatever else deserve the best buns. And the best buns come from Rotella's Italian Bakery. Crazy fresh, crazy delicious. So for your next party, pick some up at the bakery off 108th and Harrison or at your favorite grocery store. Fire up your grill and get ready for kickoff. Rotella's Italian Bakery, more than 100 years of tradition. Hey, can I get a burger with some cheese, lettuce, and tomato? Thanks.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Big Red Overreaction is live on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg, featuring the most important voice of all, yours, presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Sound off now, 402-951-1620.
3rd and 8. Sullivan steps up. He's hit and sacked at the 6-yard line. The black shirts got home again. Jamari Butler with his 4th sack of the season.
Corey Probus, radio voice of the Minnesota Twins, on the call today. Buy stock in Butler if you haven't already. This scoreboard update is brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems, helping increase efficiency with your compressed air system. Nebraska wins 17-9. Currently, Michigan just drove down the field and scored against Michigan State. They're up 7-0, 4.5 minutes into that game. Earlier today, Texas, they defeat Houston by a score 31-24. Oregon over Washington State 38-24. Alabama rallies after being down 13-0 after the first quarter. They beat Tennessee 34-20. Missouri. We live in a world, boys and girls, that Mizzou is 7-1. They blew out South Carolina today 34-12. Spencer Rattler looked awful. Minnesota holds on. Cooper DeJean returned a punt return for a touchdown that was overturned on a review that he signaled a fair catch by pointing at the football. And so take the touchdown off the board. Minnesota, for the first time under P.J. Fleck, wins the Pig. They beat Kirk Ferentz 12-10. Love me some Big Ten West football. Tulane beats North Texas. Oklahoma was in a battle all day with Central Florida. They win in Norman 31-29. Ohio State beats Penn State 20-12.
Speaking of Big Ten West football.
Yes. Air Force over Navy 17-6. Everything else is just underway. Let me give you one quick thing on the scores we missed in the Big Ten. Wisconsin. This is impressive to me. Wisconsin was down today 21-7. They scored 18 points in the fourth quarter and beat Illinois 25-27. They ran Braylon Allen 29 times. Also today, Rutgers is bowl eligible. Boys and girls, we live in a world where Mizzou is 7-1, and Greg Schiano, not Big East Greg Schiano, Big Ten Greg Schiano, is bowl eligible at 6-2, and they send Tom Allen closer to the unemployment line, 31-14 in that game. That is your scoreboard update brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems, helping increase efficiency with your compressed air system.
Rutgers finishes with Ohio State, Iowa, Penn State, Maryland. That'll be a fun month.
So good that they got to 6.
That's right. They are bowl eligible. Back to the J. Sennett Contracting Hotline. Looks like Dan has been here the longest. Dan, what's up? You're on Big Red Overreaction.
Yeah, gents. It's actually Sam, and I'm actually from the Bay Area. Yeah. So, I'm a little bit behind all of you folks in the Midwest, so I haven't had as many pops. But you know, I did listen, and Andy had said that Harburg was a dude, and the kid plays tough. There's no doubt about that. But he's definitely not a dude, and he's definitely most likely not the quarterback for next year. Maybe I'm wrong. I am not necessarily sure, but
I would agree, Sam.
Yeah. This is kind of some difficult football to watch. Like, it's just not pretty. Like, I'm going to ask one question, and then I'm going to make a couple statements. Why don't they give Jeff Sims even a look during a game like this? Harburg was fine. He threw some interceptions. He made some mistakes, but like, that's not a Power 5 quarterback that I would want to hang my hat on. I don't know why. The best game in the state this year is going to be happening here in the next 15 to 20 minutes. And then the second best is going to be happening on December 3rd. And Nebraska basketball is obviously just going to beat the shit.
Oh, come on. Come on.
That was an interesting call.
Thank you for the dump button. We appreciate it. Thank you.
So that's a word
okay.
you
So
can't say on the air.
his state rankings of games this year: volleyball game, Creighton, Nebraska on December 3rd. He also says Heinrich Harburg, not a dude. So okay, the Sims question. Let's do that real quick. It's just, I think at this point it's just purely because Heinrich Harburg has won. Like, and it's just about sort of taking forth that momentum any way you can. I don't think they want to throw, as bad as it looks during the game, I don't think they want to throw a wrench into that right now. That's just my read on it. I think they have similar skill sets. They could do similar things. I get we always want to see the other guy. I would be in support of seeing him a little bit, but so I don't necessarily need to.
I don't think pulling a quarterback is Matt Rule's DNA.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't seem like it.
His guy that he got as an Arizona transfer at Baylor, he didn't play anymore because he got injured. Remember, Rule didn't pull Sims. Sims got injured. Now, I mean,
he got Wally pipped.
There's a lot of stuff in there, but all I could think about, because I know people were clamoring, because there was a point where even on the simple handoff, I thought, man, Harburg is shook. Is what's up with Chubba Purdy? Remember, Chubba Purdy was ahead of Harburg before Purdy got hurt in the middle of August.
Yeah, that was a crazy statement.
So, I don't know. I just don't think it's in Rule's DNA to pull a quarterback and play quarterback roulette.
I think they'll go as long as they can win.
Yeah,
that's pretty much the story.
If they drop one of these two games, then I think they look at it. But right now, they've started to design the offense, and it's not like Harburg and Sims are completely different, but they've started to design the offense around Harburg, and that's who they're going to go with, and they're going to love the defense every single Saturday.
I would love to continue to have the conversation, but I think we'll oftentimes do it in Madden terms, is like put the better guy in or put the guy that we haven't seen in. But I mean,
let me throw this at you.
They have won.
Connor, let me throw this at you before we go back to the calls. Jeff Sims has got one more game to play, and then that's 4.
Yeah.
Matt Rule feels an obligation to Sims. If Sims is not the guy for the future, is Nebraska kind to Jeff Sims and they don't blow a year of eligibility, and he holds on to that? And I believe that Sims is in line to graduate in December, so he could be a double transfer because he would be a grad transfer. That's just my thinking.
Oh, you're thinking, okay. So he could have 2 years of eligibility, you're saying, somewhere else.
They wouldn't burn just restlessly a year of eligibility on Sims.
Because he has one left after this, even regardless if he takes a red shirt here.
Yep.
So he could have 2. Yep. That's interesting. I mean, yeah, I was thinking about it for the first half of what you were saying. Hey, well, you could redshirt him and bring him back next year and then see what happens again. But I don't know. I feel like they might want to change directions whichever way they go. I don't know. You got a lot of questions to answer on that side.
I mean, the whole thing through all this, thank God that Jeff Sims is well-liked and is a good teammate. Because
seriously, it could cause problems.
It would be a problem in the locker room if he was not a good teammate. But I want him to be better than a good teammate. I want him on Monday through Thursday to make the coaches go, yeah, I know what we're thinking, but man, Jeff is, I just don't know if that's happening or if he has that opportunity.
Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Back to it. Greg is on the line. Greg, you're on Big Red Overreaction.
Hey guys, I want to bring some positives and say that these guys are doing some little things that are leading to these victories. For one, those Northwestern ball carriers were not falling forward. They were getting sideways or knocked back. So, and I think one punt hit the ground. Nebraska is fielding those punts, that hidden yardage. They're doing those little things to win. And I think that's the foundation that Rule's talking about. And they're ahead of schedule, in my opinion. So go Big Red, and hopefully the offense gets it in gear.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. Ahead of schedule? Maybe. But they're doing that. It's funny because I don't know what the little things are, but they're winning, right? Like I can't point out to you what they're doing that makes them win these games and makes them lose them earlier. Like I can't point it out in particular. It's something sort of unspoken. Maybe that's what, I mean, we would talk about the mental side of Nebraska football forever. And so maybe that's it. And we should just forget about it, but they're winning.
Let me look here. I'm trying off the top of my head. Procedure penalties on offense?
Was there any? I can't think of any.
All right, here's Jim. Hello, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, don't dump me. So
don't cuss. We have an agreement. Don't cuss. Handshake, and then we won't dump you.
Okay, good.
Okay.
See, it was a great win for Nebraska. Better if you had Northwestern at plus 11. But anyway, to my point.
True.
The transfer portal, everybody says that's where we're going to have to go. Do you guys really think that if we're going against some other team to get a good player, and that other team says, well, they took that Jeff Sims guy, and he had 2 bad games.
You don't think about that.
And then he was injured, and guess what? They never played him. So why would you want to go to Nebraska as a transfer when he was our bread and butter? He was our best guy.
So
and then you don't play him. And I think he could have. I think he could have won the games that we've won already playing. And I'll just let you guys talk about that because I think it's really going to hurt us in the transfer pool.
Okay, so Jim, what you're saying is when you're recruiting against Nebraska, you're using that line. And Jim, thanks for the phone call. The kids don't look at that. Okay, if Nebraska's recruiting them and Matt Rule has said to 1890, hey, this is how high I'm ready to go for a quarterback. Right. Okay, that kid isn't going, hey, tell me about that Jeff Sims. They're coming in going, what's my competition look like? I'm here to play for you, coach.
Nebraska kids selling the portal market. You're going to be the starting quarterback at Nebraska. It's done.
Here's one thing to keep an eye on moving forward, portal, high school, whatever. How comfortable are we with Rule and Satterfield's evaluation of quarterbacks that you acquire or move through your program? Do we have any hesitancy?
Well, I mean, they have developed quarterbacks in their history. Well, Rule has developed quarterbacks in his history. It's funny because oftentimes they start off and they have some older guys, the incumbents, and then they get shuffled out, and then the young guy comes in, the quarterback of the future, and they have him for like 4 years. That's the way it was at both of his previous stops at Temple and Baylor.
I agree with you with one guy, but you can't do one without the other going, yeah, I'm comfortable with that guy, right?
Right. Okay. So, I mean, that's the thing. And I don't think Heinrich Harburg is going to be the quarterback of the future here. So maybe you start that process over next year. And the transfer portal is different now than when he was at Baylor. Like there's going to be quarterbacks in the market. I don't, to Jim's point, I don't think Nebraska will have a difficulty recruiting in the portal because of what's happened with Sims this year.
Here's the thing.
I don't think
the thing also about quarterbacks. And I know this year on that side of the ball has been turned upside down. I still don't have a good handle on what they want their quarterback to look like in the future.
Well, I don't think we can see it. Because I don't think they're doing what they're going to be doing.
So that's why there's part of me that wants to fast forward to see what they do in the offseason of the kind of quarterback they're going to kick the tires on.
Look at who they're recruiting.
Then that will tell me a little bit more.
I mean, they're not recruiting dual threats guys, Gary.
I know. so that leads me to believe that Nebraska is beginning in 24 and beyond is strictly a pro style offense.
I think so. I think that is correct. We still have plenty of room for you guys. We'll take calls as we continue on. Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg, presented by Equitable Bank, where we take banking personally, also by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill, and brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Still open for you guys, 402-951-1620, as volleyball gets underway here in just a couple minutes. Back with more Big Red Overreaction next on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
It's Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Big Red Overreaction continues in 1 minute on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
When it comes to protecting your home, Jay Stennett Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, Jay Stennett Contracting has you covered. This fall, consider gutter guards to block debris and prevent clogs and save you the hassle of regular maintenance. Schedule a consultation today and let Jay Stennett Contracting's expert team and durable gutter guards ensure your gutters are working properly in every season. Jay Stennett Contracting. We have you covered. JSCRestoration.com.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. 402-951-1620. Big Red Overreaction is live. Presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also sponsored by Dingman's Collision and Mechanical Repair on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
All right, we're back on Big Red Overreaction. Connor Happer and Gary Sharp with you this evening as Nebraska beats Northwestern 17-9. 17-9 this afternoon. We are taking your phone calls on the Jay Stennett Contracting Hotline.
Hey, what was a more enjoyable game? The Lane McCallum game in 19, which is the ugliest win in Scott Frost's tenure, or today?
Which was the more
enjoyable, ugly football?
More enjoyable. I guess today, because it's hard to know how I felt on that day in 2019.
That one was like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Why is Lane McCallum from Norfolk running up and down the field?
He's a safety. He was a walk-on safety.
Why has Nebraska had 17 guys kick this year?
Unbelievable. Hey, a win's a win, as they say.
Hey, it looks like they have. So I'm just our friends that are inside of the building at the Devaney. They're estimating maybe 9,000 people.
Yeah,
as they're getting ready to start between Nebraska, Wisconsin.
They just turned the lights out. Looks like it's going to be some hot heat in there tonight. Back to the phones. We got Josh on the line. Josh, you're on Big Red Overreaction. What's up?
Hey guys. Hey, I want to talk to Gary about this. Gary,
okay. Yeah.
I want to talk about a real sport. So, is there any doubt in your mind that Abreu hit Garcia last night on purpose? Why would you want to put yourself in that position in the bottom of the eighth with no outs? Right. So, my real question, Gary, is Adolis Garcia.
Yes.
Is he just a 13-year-old child that just ruined the game for the Astros because Abreu could not find the strike zone to save his life?
I Go ahead.
And then you bring in Presley, and he makes Simeon and Seager look like children. I'm going to hang up. I'm going to listen. Eric, I
Josh,
love you because you're a baseball guy. I'm going to listen.
Thank you, Josh. Big baseball overreaction.
And Connor's a huge baseball guy as well. I agree with everything
Me
that Josh
too.
just said.
I totally support it.
I don't think there was a question in there. I think Josh wanted to get off his chest. Josh, you were absolutely right on that whole scenario last night that led to the angriest Dusty Baker I've ever seen.
Yeah, keep sticking your tongue out, Adolis. Thank you for that call. That kind of gave me life. We're breathing life into things. Kind of gave me life.
We're moving.
Back to the Jason at Contracting Hotline. Maybe back to football, but who knows? It could go wherever. We got Dave on the line. Hey, Dave. Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
What's up, Dave?
Oh.
Yeah, we got you.
You okay, Dave?
Hey.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good. I had you on speaker. Now I'm good. Anyway, hey, thanks for taking my call. Win's a win, right? So I'm super happy. But I am the run the ball guy. So I think it was Louisiana Tech this year, right? Did we have a fullback in that game that time, like they promised us? I think we did.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a fullback in that game. And we ran it down their throats. It was awesome. It was so fun. So I'm going to come full circle here, but there's a thing on the staff where you have like a consultant. He's not on the staff, but he's kind of a consultant. I think they're paid, right? Wasn't Bush for Frost? Wasn't he that guy?
You're talking about an analyst?
They do have analysts, yes.
Analysts, yeah.
And they have
Well,
have some GAs that are involved as well.
Exactly. Well, here's the deal. If I were Satterfield, I might be a little nervous. Because did you watch the interview with Rule with the Big Ten Network right after the game?
No, we didn't see it.
Oh, it was awesome. So she asked about, the game and everything. And he talked about how, they had trouble getting rhythm with the offense, but then, they hit that long pass play to Malachi.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, we actually had, and I about cried. He said, we actually had Tom Osborne at practice, and he helped us with that play. And he said, I pointed up to the booth after he scored because T.O. drew it up or something, right?
Yeah, he said in the postgame too. He said, if you're going to do belly G option, you got to have the play action coming off it too.
Yeah, Nebraska used to run that a lot. Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is,
No.
T.O. could be that guy.
No.
I love you, Alan. I love you. Just say, if you're going to say it, say it. Say Tom Osborne should be the offensive coordinator.
Tom Osborne as the an analyst, and then eventually that leads to Satterfield, taking the back seat. Let's bring T.O. to the sideline. I mean,
oh my God,
he would run.
Why
first
not?
of all, here's what T.O. would do.
Okay,
he would put the fullback on the field.
Yeah,
and he'd run like we did against Louisiana Tech, and beat the crap out of him. And then he'd pop that same play to Coleman after we've already run it for 120 yards in the first half. Instead, Satterfield does the opposite, starts throwing it around the yard. I love the win. I love everything, but I just thought that was hilarious. I really thought that was awesome.
Incredible call, Alan. We appreciate it. Thank you. 951-1620. Embrace.
Oh, no, I think you hung up on Alan. That was Dave.
Oh, crap.
Alan, call back. We apologize. We
I'm sorry I banged you there. All right.
Offensive coordinator.
Yeah, T.O., offensive coordinator. Look, he's calling plays. He's drawing stuff up still. He's obviously still got it. This is why we embrace debate here on this show.
Yes. Can you imagine the reaction?
Rule's like, so he said it after the game. Sorry about that. Look, we got Alan back, which is good. But he said, I don't get too theatrical. I don't do too much. I don't go pointing to the crowd or anything, but I pointed up to T.O. on that one. He knows what to say.
Now,
by the way, guys,
running that play when T.O. was the head coach, they had some dudes that were running that play.
Yeah.
So, it was, there's another part of the play, and this is so it's the belly G option with a little play action that ended up with a touchdown to Coleman. Also, we got to give credit. That was one of the rare times tonight that Harburg was in sync with his offensive line, where Harburg didn't rush things.
Yeah, he hit the step.
They gave him some time, and he moved up in the pocket. So, everything aligned for one of the rare times today on offense for that play to have execution like it did.
That's what this offense has to be. It has to be an offense that when they pick a play to score, because every coordinator's got that little columns like, I think we can hit this one to score. It has to hit, and tonight it did. I don't think there's been very many times this year when it has. I mean, it hasn't gone according to plan.
I think there's also, Harburg doesn't have like 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and the clock in his head, I think it's getting better, but I think the clock in his head is still a little messed up in terms of when I got to get rid of it, when to get out of the pocket, what to do with it when I'm out there. Do I all of a sudden,
that's when
I'm on the run? Yeah, that's a development part. The rest of this year is when he's on the move, how much of the field gets cut down in his vision? Instead of, does it open up or does it get sliced down where then you just limit your opportunity?
Yeah, because when you're outside and you're that guy because you have speed and whatever, like your options should become more plentiful. In his case, I think he's thinking probably one thing and one thing only. So get that open.
I know people are probably doing one eye on TV and listening to us. There is elite volleyball that is going on, and they're only 4 points into this match.
Yeah, this is going to be incredible.
Yeah.
I'm already seeing the videos coming out of there. I mean, it looks awesome there tonight. So shout out to everybody who made it. We'll continue on with a little football overreaction, though, as we go back to Alan. Alan, sorry I dropped you before. Thank you. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks. This is Alan. Hey, I just want to say, this is the type of game, and 2 weeks ago was the type of game where if you look at the little things that they're doing, they would have lost these 2 games last year or the year before, and they're not. Does the offense suck? Yes, but they're not making the stupid errors that they have made in the past, and they're not saying, "Oh no, here we go again." And so I have to look at that as a positive sign of he's building a foundation, and at least in that aspect, they're moving forward and they're finally learning at least how.
Alan,
we lost Alan.
I like his point though, and I'll tell you this. And if we're looking for the ways that it specifically, we would have lost that game earlier in the year. How's it gotten better? He's right about this. It does not seem to affect them from one possession to the next.
Now we're talking about one side of the ball, correct?
No, we're talking about offense. I'm talking about offense.
Okay.
Because I think they're limited just physically in what they can do because they don't have the wide receivers, because of the quarterback problems, like all this stuff. But it doesn't seem to affect them in how they approach it, right? And that's huge.
So I'm going to leave the offense out of this, Connor. I think one thing that is a subtly a really, really positive sign is Nebraska is really good at quick change defense.
Yeah.
And they don't, how many times have we seen where, okay, the offense turns it over, interception, fumble, and the defense can't hold up, and all of a sudden that turnover turns into 7. Then you get the ball back on offense, it's 3 and out. The defense or the opposing offense gets the ball, they march downfield, and they put up another touchdown, and then all of a sudden that one turnover turned into 2 scores.
Exactly.
I think Nebraska this year, quick change defense, subtly, because that also builds into the culture of that defense, is something that cannot be overlooked in helping this offense out. Well, they kind of
figure it out.
Yeah, they kind of
somehow weirdly I understood that. Yeah. All right, bigger overreaction. It is presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. All right, we still got a couple more spaces for more calls, and we have many hours of 6A to 6P radio throughout the week as well. 402-951-1620 on the J Senate Contracting Hotline. We'll do that as we kind of wrap things up and get you off into volleyball as we continue on Bigger Overreaction on 1620 The Zone.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgaard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
It's Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Big Red Overreaction continues in 1 minute on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do, do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
At Dingman's, we are working for you before you even walk through our doors. Our level of commitment to industry involvement and continuing education is second to none. Through our ongoing involvement, we stay current with all the best repair procedures for the ever-changing vehicle. This includes working with auto and paint manufacturers, as well as insurance companies. Our repair facilities are set up with the latest repair and technology. Our ongoing work is to ensure that when you do need us, we are able to provide you with the safest, best repair possible. Because at Dingman's, we would rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Dingmans.com.
The Big Red Overreaction postgame show, presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also sponsored by Dingman's Collision and Mechanical Repair on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
Deny run Bonner. Fullback in, but Harburg, he's taking a shot downfield, wide open end zone, caught, touchdown. It's Malachi Coleman.
That touchdown put Nebraska up 17-6. 17-6. And they ended up winning 17-9. Big Red Overreaction is presented by Equitable Bank, where we take banking personally. Also presented by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. And brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair.
All right, keys to the game brought to you by Rotella's Italian Bakery. If you're in that part of Omaha, out in the burbs, you can smell Rotella's right now. The key to any tailgate is brat, dog, and burger buns from Rotella's Italian Bakery. Keys to the game for Nebraska to hold Northwestern under 100 yards rushing. They did just that. 39 carries, 81 yards. Do the math, 2.1 yards per carry. Also, Northwestern had been pretty good on third down. Nebraska was really good today against a struggling offense that went 3 of 15 on third down. And then another key was if you're going to use if you're going to have the freshmen play, you got to use them. Malachi Coleman got a touchdown.
Yeah,
first touchdown. He had 2 targets, the 1 touchdown catch of 44 yards. Doss, who that ball catchable, the one that was incomplete. So Doss had 1 catch. He had 2 targets. Yeah. Where Coleman was kind of in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Was that catchable?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, he had a guy draped all over him, but he ended up bicycle kicking it up into the sky, which was hilarious. I don't think I'd seen that before.
Those are the keys to a 17-9 victory by Nebraska to get them to 4-3 and 2-2 in the Big Ten. They're brought to you by Rotella's Italian Bakery.
I got another one for you. How about another freshman, Tristan Alvano, knocking down a 47-yarder into the wind?
So that's huge. So
if you're talking about an offense that's not going to be there, you need him.
Looked like it would have been good from
Nick and I were talking about the key 3 key guys for the rest of the season, and we both kind of agreed on Anthony Grant. But I threw Tristan Alvano in there because Nebraska is going to play in these tight games, and they're an offense. I was glad to see him today score in the red zone. The Harburg touchdown. They got into the red zone and they scored. But they're going to play a lot outside of the red zone, so they're going to need Alvano to be better than 3 of 7. And he hadn't hit a 40-plus yard field goal. So they do that. They put him out there, and they got a lot of confidence. I see a lot of Drew Brown in Alvano because, remember, Drew Brown struggled his first year and then was okay. So that's kind of where Alvano is going. But to put him out there, that's a great point, Connor. He banged that from 47 into the wind.
Never a doubt.
He had not hit a 40-plus yard field goal since he hit the one to win the state championship last November in the same stadium.
On that very same field goal post. Mm-hmm. Back to the J Senate Contracting Hotline. We have James on the line. James, you're on Big Red Overreaction. What's up?
Hey, guys. Believe it or not, I have an overreaction about the quarterback play. Early in the season, it felt a little, what does Jeff Sims have to do to lose this job? And now I just have this kind of the same question for Harburg. I
think just a little disappointed coming off the bye week. You would just hope that, we'd be able to catch snaps and kind of to have clean handoffs, those types of things. I get it. We're in the third, fourth string running back at this point, but what do you think he has to do? How bad would you say Harburg could play in the next few games for him to keep his job? Thanks for what you guys do. Appreciate it.
Thank you, James. Appreciate it. Well, I just think as long as they win, he's going to stay in there. I think that's where I'm at right now. I mean, it's been pretty bad, right? I don't, and it's hard to tell how much of that is his responsibility, how much of that is just the lack of playmakers on the offense and play calling.
Well, isn't it so?
I just think they want to stick with him because they're winning.
Yeah. So isn't it to the point that Jeff Sims was a quarterback of an 0-2 team where he put the ball on the carpet, put the ball into the hands of other teams, that Harburg, with now more games definitely starting, is kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And there is no sense of urgency on the sideline to make a change. I think they've gone all in on Harburg. They want for his development, and they feel like he gives them the best option to win, which is, that's tough to take if you're a competitor like Jeff Sims, but I just don't foresee a change. That's why I continue to ask the questions about Sims. What the hell, Chubba Purdy?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I think they have to have a quarterback who can run, and that's why we're not seeing Chubba Purdy.
And then Harburg again ran 16 times today.
They need, especially with the running back injuries that you've had now, with Irvin and Johnson both out, and I think you were hesitant on Emmett Johnson a little bit today too, and some of that was just game situation stuff. But they know, the thing that I appreciate about this staff is that they seem to have a really good grasp of what they're capable of, what they can do and what they can't do, and they're not trying to force anything. So they know that they're not very good at conventionally running the football. And because of that, they know that they have to have a quarterback who can help them out in the run game and has to help them out in the run game. So for that reason and that reason only, Chubba Purdy is not the guy. And while I would like to see what he could do from a conventional standpoint, I just don't there's no upside to that.
No, I agree with you. The quarterback run game, because they're looking at a +1 on the run game.
No doubt.
Is that Harburg gives you that option.
Got to have it.
And that, that's 16 carries, but there's the part of, he's the guy until you lose, and then maybe you step back. But I just, again, somebody said earlier, I don't know if that's in Rule's DNA.
You have to ask, what is
outside of an injury?
What would he give you that is discernibly better? And I think they view both of those quarterbacks on a pretty similar plane, even when Sims is healthy. I know they went with Sims to start, but I think they view him pretty similarly, right? I mean, what does Sims give you that Heinrich Harburg, or maybe it's about minimizing the lower end, right? Can Sims bury you? Yeah. Has Harburg done some things where you're like, man, that should have buried us? Yeah, but you're winning, and so you're sticking with it at this point. Maybe they think the floor is lower with Sims.
Wouldn't you like to watch practice?
I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued. Back to the phones on the Jay Senate Contracting Hotline. Hi, Kyle. Kyle.
Oh, Kyle. Now, see, we can't end like that.
Yeah, somebody call us.
Please, 951-1620.
Kyle sounded excited too.
Don't you?
Okay, so let's
12-9 Nebraska.
Just one more thing in the quarterback. Do you who is the floor lower with? If bad, who could kill you more? Right? I think that's what they're trying to eliminate.
That's a great question, but can I turn it differently? We have seen Heinrich Harburg for 5 starts, 6 games. We've seen Jeff Sims a lot longer in his college career. Who do you think can be different than what you've already seen? And Connor, the answer might be, well, there is no answer. I think because I know exactly what I'm getting.
I think they thought that was Sims.
Oh, they definitely thought they could fix Jeff Sims.
And that's why I'm curious, because what he did in his first 2 games was, even though he was turnover prone at Georgia Tech, he was 4 times more turnover prone in his first 2 games than he ever was at Georgia Tech, which they have to know that if you're putting him back into a game situation, that it's not going to be that bad.
But the guy that replaced you has become turnover prone. Today was the first day that it came back to bite him with the interceptions, but Nebraska won the game.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, he puts it in harm's way a lot. Do they think Sims puts it in harm's way more? That's essentially the question you're trying to ask.
Let's. The bottom line is, Nebraska has a very poor quarterback room. Whether it be Jeff Sims or Heinrich Harburg starting, they're just very, very poor in that room.
Yeah.
And there is nobody that is going to walk out of that room on a Saturday and cover up all the defaults that you have because they're so good.
What do we say? God bless Tony White.
Yeah. You just hope that one game where they break down,
dear Lord, baby Jesus,
is during a scrimmage at a bowl site, where one day they have a bad practice and the Nebraska offense, the number ones, put up 40 points on them.
Kyle is back on the Jay Senate Contracting Hotline. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Very good, Kyle.
Oh, this might be really good. All right, Kyle.
I just want to let you know that I appreciate Gary.
Oh, and Connor,
the unsportsmanlike conduct guys, like all together, everybody.
Now, Kyle, can I stop you real quick? Can we before we go?
Everybody loves you, Gary. Everybody loves you.
Hold on. Before we go any further in this conversation, my partner here tonight, he has a show. You listen to Connor, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to include Connor in this, right?
He is awesome.
Thank you.
The ginger of the show.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah.
We love you. You're
Thank
back.
You. All right, now we can discuss. Good, Kyle. You know what? I like you, man. You can talk about whatever you'd like to talk about now. Just don't go longer than 20 minutes.
Okay. Well, I just want to let you know that I thought that, the Husker defense is really, really solid. And, realistically, yes, I am drunk.
Okay. Hey, that's okay. We will hear in about 20 minutes.
We love someone who's self-aware.
Yes.
Okay.
Realistically, the offense, man, we just need some more playmakers, bro. I mean, come on.
Hey, bro.
I know, bro.
Hey, bro. That's why quarterback, running back, wide receiver, they're going to do some shopping. We're going to get a shopping cart in the offseason, and if they don't fill it up, we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations next year.
What I wanted to say is it's really good to see like Malachi Coleman and some other people stepping up, and hopefully they work hard and they create enough of a good quality thing that Rule doesn't have to look too much outside the
Oh no. Those three freshman wide receivers are secure. They just need them to move forward. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But I just wanted to say, I'm kind of really hammered here, but
when did you start?
1 o'clock.
Oh, well, before the game.
Very nice.
Hey, good on Kyle. You must be a pro because you made it through about 6.5 hours here.
What are you watching now, Kyle?
I am actually sitting outside of you can call it a he shed, not a she shed.
Oh, okay.
And I just been listening to you guys, and
thank you.
One of my favorite things is to just listen to Big Red Overreaction, and I rarely ever call you guys, but I've got a very deep love for Nebraska. I'm down here in Arkansas, and I just want to tell you guys that you guys deal with a lot of stuff and a lot of fans that are, angry, this, that, and the other. Well, I ain't that kind of person. I just want to, tell you that, I hope we get to a bowl, and I love life, and I love you guys.
Hey,
I love you, Kyle.
Kyle, I love you. I hope you're
Kyle.
being
Love
safe
you,
tonight.
Kyle.
And also, I think you should call the Arkansas Sports Talk shows on Monday and tell them when Sam Pittman is fired, he should go to a Big Ten school in the Midwest to be their offensive line coach.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I tell you what, maybe I'll remember that.
I love you, man.
Enjoy the he shed, Kyle.
Hey, thank you, Kyle.
Hey, by the way.
Oh, go ahead. You got 16 more minutes.
It's on 104.3 up here. Sucks compared to you guys.
Hey, that's right. You call them and you tell them that on Monday, all right?
Okay. I try to stream your stuff because the stuff down here on Arkansas radio for sports ain't happening compared to Omaha radio. I'll say that.
Hey, Kyle.
Heard it here
thank
first.
you.
Bye, Kyle.
Hey, Kyle, you ever make it up here, you stop in and say hello to Connor.
I did one time at the College World Series.
Oh.
And actually, out of my 42 years of life experience, I've been in Omaha for 41 years.
Oh.
The next time I come up, I tell you what, I'll probably tackle Connor.
Okay.
Hey,
Sounds good.
Why did you have to move to Arkansas?
I had to get out of Omaha.
You were wanted?
No.
Okay.
That's good.
No, and actually, this is probably the first time in about 2 or 3 months I've actually drank.
Okay.
But it was a bad environment for myself.
Well, I'm glad. What part of Arkansas are you in?
Okay.
Northern.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
All right. We come
No,
down to the Ozarks. We'll come visit you.
Hey.
All right.
You ever want to come down to Big Flat, Arkansas? I'm here for you, bro.
Big Flat.
All right. Thank you, Kyle.
Bye, Kyle.
All right. Bye.
We had 15 more minutes with the guy. Connor has been to
I
Arkansas.
like the follow-up question. I have. I went to a regional.
You went to the heated regional at Fayetteville between Nebraska and Arkansas.
Yes, there was a grand slam that was hit that weekend that is etched in my brain. I like Kyle. Thank you, Kyle.
Great call.
I look forward to the College World Series when he's back and he tackles me out of nowhere. That'll be fun.
What did he call you? The ginger of the program?
The ginger of the show.
I don't think that's far reaching, being how either Peter or I have red hair.
I'm the ginger of this show, that's for sure.
Yeah. Poll question: best ginger on 1620?
Each 1620 show has a ginger.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So you got Nick, John, or Connor.
All right.
You guys could be a tag team.
Take your pick. Your pick. What was Kyle's main point there? I don't even remember.
That he had
Deep
been
love.
drinking since 1.
Okay.
Running on.
Oh, and
6.5 hours.
he loves Nebraska.
He does love Nebraska.
Yep.
He doesn't like Arkansas sports talk radio that much.
No.
Okay.
We've got that.
Oh boy, I just made a comment and people are now calling me out or wondering what I said. So Sam Pittman's gonna get fired at Arkansas.
They're bad.
Sam
Gary.
Pittman's 2-6.
They're bad.
Okay, they were playing against a backup quarterback, Mississippi State. I'm telling you, Sam Pittman, if he wants to be on the open market next year to go back to be an offensive line coach,
Don't do this. Don't fantasy football hire coaches. We don't do this anymore.
Hey, at Georgia, real deal, and he's a hell of a recruiter.
Now you're going to want to hire Ed Orgeron. Just say you want to hire Ed
Orgeron.
Orgeron.
Say anything about Ed Orgeron. I'm just saying. I'm giving the college football perspective that Sam Pittman, as a free agent, as an offensive line coach,
Very good.
will be very, very popular next year if he chooses to do that, and Arkansas chooses to do what they should do in the offseason.
Yeah, they're bad. They're not.
I'm not soliciting
good.
for Nebraska. I'm just pointing out the fact that he is a good offensive line coach that can recruit.
Thank you for pointing out facts. We love facts here on Big Red Overreaction, which is presented by Equitable Bank, where we take banking personally, and presented by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Michigan 21, Michigan State 0.
Hey, Michigan. So you got to do the math here quick. So Purdue next week. Purdue is 1-3. They're coming off a bye. So Nebraska goes against teams that go bye-bye, and then it's a road game.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan State is on quit watch. I'm telling you.
Yeah, definitely.
Since Mel wasn't coming anymore, they are 0-4. They've lost by an average of 17 points. They blew that game at Rutgers, which I looked at them and I said, they're done. They could go to 0-5 tonight. By the time Nebraska gets there in 2 weeks, Nebraska may be facing a team that is ready for the season to be over, and that could be a night where Nebraska has a chance to get to a bowl game.
Another future opponent watch. Maryland had a bye week this week. They get Northwestern and Penn State before they play Nebraska. Wisconsin about lost to Illinois today and blew their season. Iowa did lose today and blow their season.
Hey, we got to do 2 more calls here.
Yeah, we do have to do 2 more calls.
We'll do 2 more calls.
We got to do 2 more calls for sure. But I mean,
So who's
there was
Pat- so
there
who's
was a
Pat-
narrative that Nebraska needed to get to 6 before they played
Yeah.
Wisconsin. I don't know if that's true.
So who do you think in the West, because if people are just tuning in, Minnesota won in Iowa City today. Does Wisconsin still have the best path, even though they play Ohio State? Like to win the West. I mean, the West is like, I mean, Iowa could actually still have the best path because they have the tiebreaker over Wisconsin. But anybody want to go there that game on Black Friday will have huge implications for a lot of different things, whether they be the employment of some people or the enjoyment of others?
Well, we already know Iowa's not going to get to 325 this year, so that's already out the window. Does Minnesota right now have the best path?
They got the tiebreaker over Iowa and Nebraska, and they have the game at the end of the year against Minnesota.
Against Wisconsin. So Minnesota's 2-2. They still play Wisconsin. Wisconsin's going to have another loss at least because they play Ohio State. Those are all. So Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska are your 2 lost teams. You can count them that way because Wisconsin's going to get beat by Ohio State.
Hey,
Minnesota might have the right edge right now.
Isn't this the greatest way for the Big Ten West
It's
to
perfect.
go out?
In a blaze of glory.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful division. All right, 2 more calls. It's official.
Hey, did anybody wait, quick on that? Did anybody ask Rule today if that was a beautiful game?
I watched that game. I thought it was a beautiful football game. Alex is on Big Red Overreaction from the J. Senate Contracting Hotline. Alex, what's up?
Hey, I thought it was a beautiful game. Every win for the Huskers. I mean, they put 2 back-to-back. The boys are rolling. I mean, who knows what's going to go on, but there's good news. And, I mean, you don't have all those bad callers and all that other stuff coming in and saying, oh, we got to do this. But I'm so happy, and go Big Red.
Thank you, Alex.
Alex, nice.
I'm
and to the
so
point.
happy.
What did you start immediately singing the song? Happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so happy too. We don't have any negative callers tonight. Everybody seems to be very happy about everything that's going
What's
on.
Pharrell Williams doing these days?
I don't know. I haven't heard from him in a while. He's due to release another.
I think he's
popular song.
I think he's voicing animation.
Oh, has to be.
Yeah, and he's making like mega bucks.
He'll probably make entire soundtracks for those movies too. Look who this is.
No, let's just keep this rolling with drunk people.
Okay, perfect.
I know she's not drunk. Hello.
Hi, Kellyanne.
How are you?
We're good. We can almost hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm driving back from Lincoln.
There you are. What's up?
Is that better?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Again, appreciate you guys. I've been stuck in traffic listening and laughing a lot. And I appreciate you guys taking one for the team and being on the call tonight. So, Gary, my question first for you is, if you're Coach Rule, which assistant coach are you meeting first with on Monday? And Connor, my question for you is, I want you to rank the Husker receivers in order best to not the best. And I'll let you guys go and appreciate you. And I'll be in time. I'll be in Omaha in time to take you to the bar if you want.
Sounds great. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate it.
All right.
Okay, you're up first.
What coach? So is this a negative or a positive?
I don't know, just which one do you want to talk to?
Yeah, I guess it wasn't really phrased one way or the other.
What do you want to talk to?
Fireside chat.
No, you know what? I'm actually probably talking to Dylan Raiola because they're going to have to.
You want to talk to Dylan Raiola?
I'm not Dylan.
Going back to our first caller?
Because I just saw somebody responded to that tweet. I'm probably talking to my offensive line coach because they're going to have to piece some things together. And all I know is that Justin Evans Jenkins needs to play from here on out. But I also wonder this. And again, Ben Scott came back into the game. And so they had Evans Jenkins and Noelle were the guards after Piper got hurt, which is, wherever you think of Ethan's play, he's a good kid. And that's a terrible way to.
That's kind of a heartbeat guy, you know?
So I wonder if this opens the door at all for Sam Sledge to play a little bit and not burn his red shirt.
I think it's time.
But I think I'm not saying this is a negative. Oh, you got your offensive line. I think you meet with him to figure out what is the best combination going forward, because I mean the Piper loss is kind of significant because you're going to have to fill that. But all I know is that Matt Rule, Justin Evans Jenkins, his first play today was a pancake. He held his own. He either played center or guard. 51 needs to be on the offensive line for the next 5 games from here on out, because Justin Evans Jenkins will be one of your starters next year.
Gary, there's a giant gap between like in the scholarship distribution. Like you have all those old guys playing on the offensive line right now, and then there's nobody in between.
Yeah. And he's a red shirt freshman.
And so you're talking about freshmen and redshirt freshmen. Like if you could find a way to win games, I think it is time to go full youth movement. 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. And then you get your bowl practices. Jake Butt couldn't stop talking about bowl practices today. He was like, it's what's really important is the bowl practices.
Now, I should know this, but I don't, and I know you will. The bowl game does not count against your red shirt number, correct?
Oh, I don't. I'm not sure on that one.
Okay.
I don't. I would actually assume that it does.
Okay.
It does count against it, but okay. Now I have to answer my question. So, am I ranking Nebraska's wide receivers who are still standing upright?
Did just look it up. Bowl games will not count towards the 4-game red
That's
shirt.
huge.
There you go. Thank you,
That's
Peter,
huge.
man. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'm
so
assuming
the
I'm
wide-
ranking the
that's-
receivers who still are alive.
Yeah, and keep Kemp in there, but he's someone to watch through the weekend.
Okay, Kemp. So here's who we've lost. We say a prayer for our fallen soldiers. Billy Kemp, Marcus Washington.
Well, you in hospice and fallen
I know.
shoulders.
I
Shoulders.
apologize. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. Remember Xavier Betts? He was going to be on this team once upon a time.
Did I hear somebody told me? I'm sorry. Here, I
Keep going.
I hate
Yeah, go.
interrupting.
Get
you.
in there.
Did they explain it the wrong way about why Xavier Betts isn't on the team?
What do you mean?
Like, he left the team. Someone texted me and they said they just screwed up why Betts is no longer on the team.
So
They said he was removed from the team.
Rule mentioned something
It seemed-
offhand during
it
a
seemed
press
like he
conference
wanted
this
to
week.
Step away and do non-football things is how I interpreted it.
Okay. The text to me was that on TV they intimated they got kicked off the team.
Oh, like the BTN guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't hear any of that.
Okay.
No,
I
neither
didn't
did
hear
I.
any of that.
All right.
Okay, so here are my guys. Connor Happer's wide receivers, who I could pick from a pool of the following people: Alex Bullock, Ty Hahn, Jalen Lloyd, Malachi Coleman. Is that kind of it? Are those the only people playing wide receiver right now?
Okay, give it to me again.
Bullock,
Yep.
Hahn, Lloyd, Coleman. Are there more? Are there any? Doss.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that I would say that Malachi Coleman is Nebraska's best receiver at the moment. Any disagreements from the peanut gallery? Okay, good.
Not on my end.
All right. It hurts me to say that, but I think that it's probably true. Then I guess I would go with, the rest of them we really even haven't seen. It's crazy Bullock,
Yeah.
I guess would be the second guy.
Alex Bullock actually might be
Like Bullock
your
is helpful.
So Coleman gives you the most, where there's the one guy on the field that could blow the top off if you can get him the ball. Alex Bullock probably becomes the most reliable wide receiver.
Yeah.
But in this whole discussion, you might even put your two tight ends ahead of the wide
Sure,
receiver.
if they count.
Yeah.
If they count, then they're definitely number 1 and 2, I think, at this point. So
Hey,
there's your list.
Hey, you know who else we saw today? This just popped in my head. I'm sorry. This is random last minutes of Big Red Overreaction. How about Quentin Ives played today?
He did?
Yeah.
Did he touch the football?
He
Doesn't
was
look like it.
He was in there they were going to run an option, and he was in the backfield on the option wearing 28.
Get that guy going.
I think he might have played one play.
Somebody
So that's his first.
when
first
whoever
game
called
start.
in about the transfer portal earlier, they were like, how am I going to, sell this whenever? I mean, Nebraska has like all 11 spots on their offense that is open in the offseason. They're like, hey, you want to come in and be our starting running back? Go right ahead.
We have spots.
Hey, you want to come in and be our quarterback? Go right ahead. You want to come in and be our wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4? Go right ahead.
Well, you know this because you've talked about it on your show. Just watch Nebraska in the last week and then moving forward on more offers for this class coming out.
Yeah.
Not guys that they've already offered to that are committing like Caleb did last night and waiting on Bricks who may or may not come here. But look at if they're continuing to add to the 24 class, and I'm not reading into it as they expect some decommits, because there may be one that the Barta kid from Topeka is going to decommit from Nebraska and go to Kansas State. But they're offering wide receivers and kick returners, and they're like, okay, we've assessed the roster. This is where we're at. We're going to continue to add. It would not surprise me if we get to like bowl time and Nebraska has, when you count in the future scholarship guys, over 100 scholarship guys.
All right, last call on Big Red Overreaction on the Jay Senate Contracting Hotline. It's Andy. Andy, take us home, my friend.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
Andy.
Hey, so a question that I had is watching the game here. Do you not think that with Harburg back in there rolling out, that maybe it would be better if if there were play designs that were best suited for him and some play action type of plays, and that he'd be better suited for that? Didn't seem like that he's very comfortable back in the pocket on anything, that they roll him out more often, that he can seem to make better plays there that way.
Well, I think, and thanks for the call, Andy. I think like you have to play it really close to the vest with Harburg, because I think part of what you get when you have Heinrich Harburg is his ability to sort of make plays. And so when you put him in controlled environments, it limits his options. But also when you put him in environments where he can make plays, he oftentimes makes mistakes. So it's really like, can he be trusted? So in your play action scenario, Andy, like if he's got one read and that's his one guy, can he be trusted to make the simple play?
Yeah.
75% of the time? Like it's probably not a high enough number at this point. So I agree with you that it's probably better for Nebraska's offense when they're that way, but I also don't think you want to limit the guy's ceiling, because part of the reason you're playing him in the first place is to get the playmaking part.
Yeah.
So like they need help on offense, and I don't think you want to limit anybody's ceiling.
So you know what a game like today really, really hits you, and it's football, these happen, is today would have been a day that would have been ideal for Ramir and Gabe Ervin.
Seriously.
Because there's a thing, I loved when they were, and this is going back to the Northern Illinois, Louisiana Tech stretch before both of those guys got hurt, and we're stretching here because Nebraska's on set point for the third time against Wisconsin.
And got it.
Nebraska wins the first set 25-22. You remember in the Northern Illinois, Louisiana Tech stretch, now this is before both of them got hurt, is they ran a lot of variety on offense, whether it be the option game or just the quarterback run game. And they started to run quarterback power and quarterback follow. And you had Ramir and Ervin on the field, and it felt like Harburg was really comfortable running those sequence of plays. Like today, those two guys playing for you, this wouldn't have been 17-9. Those two kind of guys would have been really good, and they would have helped Harburg today.
Most of the times,
that's the
Gary,
adjustment.
they were just, with Emmett Johnson back there, they were just flexing him out as a wide receiver. Like he's not even back there to pass protect. All of a sudden, they're in 5 wide.
Because here's the thing. Nebraska is in a situation. I don't think Nebraska in their head looks at Anthony Grant as a 3-down running back. I don't think they look at Emmett Johnson as a three-down running back. They looked at Ervin and Johnson as 3-down running backs.
Definitely Ervin.
So the whole thing has been just disjointed, and it's week to week, and you don't know what you're going to get. That makes me really, really uncomfortable, but they need to stop being cute. Okay. That's all I'm asking.
Find a way.
Also quit going empty on third down. Okay. We are trending in the wrong direction with the analytics on that.
Gary,
we made it.
Let's go watch set 2.
Is Kellyanne going to pick us up? We're going to the bars?
I think so.
That sounds like this.
Peter Mann going to join us?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Peter Mann.
I'm there.
All right. Hit that close bed.
Hey, by the way, one quick thing here. I know I keep talking.
That's okay.
You know how on Big Ten Network, everybody features like a special thing about the university? Do you see what Northwestern's was today? It was about the band.
Aw.
To try and draw
We
people.
love bands.
Because most of us, especially us three, could never get into Northwestern.
Big Red Overreaction is presented by Equitable Bank, where we take banking personally. Also presented by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill, and brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Connor Happer, Gary Sharp. Don't forget, Gary will be with you Monday morning, bright and early at 6 o'clock with Nick Hanley. But we have more Husker coverage tomorrow. Severe's in for Severe Overreaction. So we got you covered wall to wall in all week 6A to 6P. That is Big Red Overreaction for the week. Nebraska wins 17-9. Another season on the line game next week against Purdue. Talk to you Monday. Thanks, Gary.